Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is now 8 a.m. You are listening to Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. And we have another great interview today for you. We're going to be talking to some notables, some locals, definitely. Some well-known folks here on the scene in Aurora, especially the art scene. I'm talking about dear friends of the show, Josh Schultz and Rebekah Axtell. So we're going to get into that portion here momentarily. But we've got news for you guys. First of all, chief among them, register your business by December 31st. In the age of COVID-19, the need for highly accurate communication and life safety data has never been more critical. With that in mind, the General Business Registration Ordinance requires all entities conducting business within city boundaries to register with the city of Aurora. All right. By registering your business, you are contributing to the continued success and safety of your employees, patrons, and fellow businesses. The registration process is fast, and the link has been posted for you guys. Aurora Township elections are coming up next year. Do you live in Aurora Township? Do you know if you do? Find out if you do and take part once again in the voting process. All the voting is not yet done. There's great candidates that are up in the election, trying to get elected. So please check that out and look into it and make sure that you come out and vote. The primaries in February, with the actual election April 6th, I believe is the date. So check that out. Go to auroratownship.org. Okie dokie. Wesley and Flowing Forth United Methodist Churches, Temple, Benai, Israel, New England Congregational Church, and Art Bar Art Gallery. Been telling you guys about this for a while. Monday, December 21st, it is on. Using Aurora Light Up. Hashtag Aurora Light Up. Community organizations, faith communities, nonprofits, and neighborhoods are invited to pick a location, bring candles, and stand together in unity and silence for 30 minutes. Shout out to all those faith organizations. Want to give a quick shout out to Treadwell Coffee. Just saw the crew over there yesterday. Hadn't been in there in a while since they opened up at 8 o'clock now. You know, our brother, 8 o'clock, we get knee deep into the mix with the news for you folks. So shout out to Treadwell. Shout out to the Aurora Public Art Commission. There was shout outs galore on today's, this morning. We had a phone call this morning. It was great. Applications to join the Aurora CRB Civilian Review Board are online at the city's website. We've posted that link. Please go and check that out. The final date for applications to be submitted will be Tuesday, December 22nd. Saturday, the 19th of December, Faith Lutheran Church is hosting their annual church nativity scene. During the performance, visitors will be invited to join the choir and sing traditional carols. The public is invited. Admission, parking, and refreshments are free. Our friends of the CAN Network, CAAN, Community Advocacy Awareness Network, holding a coat drive going until, last day of the drive was today. We've been telling y'all about that for a while, though. So shout out to CAN and shout out to Java Plus, 1677 Montgomery Road in Aurora. Want to give a big shout out to Aurora Business United, everybody that's involved, all of the entrepreneurs, business people, and people of stature helping to make the city great, coming together, sharing information, and really putting the ball in our own collective hand. And we dribbling this bad boy. All right. So got a couple more things to talk to you guys about. Shout out to the Kane County Sheriff's Office, definitely. And that is Elf Behind the Shelf. That's still taking place, and it's going to December 21st. Whole lot of items needed. We'll be sure to post this again later on today for you guys. The whole theme is that the Kane County Sheriff's Office is hosting this to allow you to help those in need from behind the scenes. All donations go to Pads of Elgin and Mutual Grounds Domestic Violence Shelter. Shout out to the Kane County Sheriff's Office. All right. Pure Skin Solutions, $65 lunchtime glow peel. That's the December special for them. Gracie G Photography, $265 mini Christmas sessions. That's their December special. Island Optical, half off designer and luxury eyewear. La Quinta de los Reyes, $5 hot punch, $20 off fajita plates. Or excuse me, 20% off fajita plates. Damn, $20 off. That's like, I think the fajita plate is like $20. So that would have been free. Nah. Shout out to La Quinta. That was me. I messed that up. Treadwell, buy a holiday drink and get half off of a pastry. Shouts. Happy Days, get 15% off all glass. Oxy Affordable Optical, save $25 on $100 gift certificates. And Do or Die Designs, 15% off hair care, free conditioning, and treatment. Word up. Shout out to all of those great businesses. Also, shout out to Cottonseed Creative Exchange. Yvonne, what up? Homegirls, you know how we do. Squad, that's the people over there. Shout out to Viso Arts. Big shouts. McCarty Mills, where you at? Strawberries Barbecue. What? Jen Ingram Art. Stealth Art. Josh Schultz. Everybody, the whole art clique. Everything. Today is a nice, beautiful Thursday, y'all. And we've got a whole lot of good stuff for you today. I hope that you guys are enjoying the show. If you have a chance, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We drop all kinds of cool stuff on that channel, man. You see a lot of good stuff popping up, and we got a lot of great stuff that's coming soon. I'm telling you, just stay tuned. The second largest city's first daily news podcast has arrived. And that's all for the news. In today's episode.
Art life.
Right, exactly. For the listeners and for the viewers who aren't familiar with you guys, why don't you let us know who you are and where you're from?
I am Joshua Schultz. That's me.
AKA Santa.
Santa's stepbrother.
Stepbrother, okay.
I live currently in Oswego. I was born very young when I was born.
Most people are very young when they're born.
I was actually born on a military base in Stuttgart, Germany. I think I told you that.
Yeah.
And lived there till I was 4. My mom was stationed there. My dad taught on the base as a math teacher. My mom was a nurse in the Army. And so we were home for the holidays, but they're full time.
Yeah.
Then basically moved back, and I pretty much have lived in Oswego all my life. But right when we got back, so I got kicked out of like 2 preschools when I was there. I was kind of a little spaz hellraiser, I guess. Could not sit still, and still kind of can't in a lot of ways. So when we got back here, my dad threw me in the pool at the YMCA and basically told the swim instructor, I want him coming back just ready to go to bed, basically. So they're like, swim him until he's out of gas,
right.
Essentially. So that was over at the YMCA on Garfield, and the building's still there, but I'm sure it's a lot of it's pretty just
decades later you emerged from the pool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I basically swam there my whole life. So the swim family at the YMCA and at Westwind, which was, it's now it's like townhouses now. It's right next to the Vaughn Athletic Center.
Okay, yeah.
So that used to be the country club. There was the tennis club was, I guess, kind of moved into the Vaughn Athletic Center. I think it's still pretty much intact, but Westwind's gone. But yeah, so swam, constantly all the time. That was like my whole life from 4 to 18, essentially.
Growing up, what impact did your mom have on your life?
For sure, my mom was a huge influence on art in my life, so she worked in Aurora she was born in Aurora. My dad was, both my parents were
What were their
born.
names?
Jan and Dan. They and my grandparents lived in Aurora. My grandmother was from Aurora before ended up on the farm. But so my mother's influence on me definitely from probably about the same age, 4, whenever I could hold a pencil, she was supplying me with. She just saw that there was something going on there, so she was giving me colored pencils, pens, markers, paper, and that was like a constant
feeding you.
Yeah, that was a thing. She definitely signed me up for private lessons in Aurora with Adrienne Frazier. I don't know if she's, I would think since passed, she was quite old when I took lessons, private lessons from her in grade school. She was just a really wonderful, just kind, just generous,
painting
really nice woman. It was, there was painting. It was kind of mostly like fundamentals.
Okay.
Real color theory. Design, like on just like real roots kind of fundamentals of art stuff going on. So so that was again in Aurora. So that was my mom. She was a huge influence in so far as like seeing that I had this talent and nurturing that and developing that, which was great. It was great. My dad he actually had art talent of his own. I mean, when he was a kid, he was doing these really detailed farm pictures. I mean, farm and tractor pictures, mostly tractor, like real engineering kind of schematic drawings.
Right. Right.
Like side profiles. Real, detailed rulers. I mean, he was a math teacher for 36 years, I think.
Damn.
So that his, sort of tunnel vision, I guess, was definitely very specific in that way. I mean,
your mom was a nurse, your dad's a math teacher.
And I mean, he grew up on the farm in Bristol, and
Bristol,
so I mean, he was
Illinois.
Yeah, it's just 20 minutes west of here. It's more like North Yorkville.
Okay.
But it's
the
Bristol
home of
Township.
It's the home of the Bristol burger.
Yeah, for sure.
Bristol
burger.
Bristol burger. Yeah, the Bristol Tap. Highly recommend. It's
damn. I'm still lost. You keep hitting me with some good
You gotta go.
It's like it's a thing. Yeah.
So that's 2 places on the list: law office.
Oh yeah.
And,
we gotta get to the law office for sure.
Already turned into a food.
You gotta have your hog wings at Rowdy's.
Yeah.
Well, but this is about Aurora. That's Yorkville.
Okay.
But
good morning, Yorkville.
I mean, the Fox Valley is really this. The river flows and the culture flows with it, and the people, move up and down the river. It's been like that since day one. I mean, this is sort of tangent, but still along the river. My cousins used to live in Geneva. We used to ride our bikes along the trail, like as far as we could go.
Right.
I mean, canoeing, kayaking on the river. It's just like it is a whole culture unto itself.
I had a guy on the show a couple days ago, and he told me that when you went past a certain place on Farnsworth, it was all cornfields. If you went past a certain place here, it was all cornfields.
Yeah.
Do you remember times like that?
Absolutely. Well, I was listening to that show. That was Alex Arroyo.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And for sure, my parents were closer to that sort of era.
Okay.
But when I graduated high school, it was still like that in Oswego. Like Oswego was a farm town. It was cornfields. It was a village practically. I mean, it was just, there was the small downtown. There were, subdivisions. I mean, like Boulder Hill was a big subdivision, which was a farm at one point in time. And so the huge boom that happened just in me going to college, Oswego, like Kendall County was the fastest growing county for, I think, 2 or 3 years running. And it was boom town. I mean, just like house after house and, it was wild. It was really crazy. So for sure, this was the farms around Aurora, you know, fed into Aurora, fed into Chicago. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's, you know, Tracy Duran.
Oh yes.
She's got stories. I know Vicki Moore. She's just. Have you talked to her yet? You should really talk to her. She's great.
Yeah, I don't think you've met her.
She's part of the Aurora historical. I don't know if she's even in the society. I might be speaking out of turn, but she's
a ton of content.
She has so much information about this kind of thing you're talking about in Aurora.
There's a Facebook group that's run by Ramona Wood and Jim Schweitzer.
Yeah, then and now Aurora, then and now. It's
That's them? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I love that page.
Oh yeah, it's
and
awesome.
Vicky's one of
I
the
love
contributors.
Like you could do a whole series just on the information that has been put together on that page. Brilliant Lights is also a good one. It's just, there are some really major nerds, you know, Aurora nerds in the best way.
Yeah, with the history and the things going on in the city.
And
awesome.
You're talking about the art scene, or this is just the information scene and the research scene. 10, 20 years ago, this kind of information about the historical pictures of Aurora. There's an Aurora Express train theme that Aurora Downtown is working on right now. Well, okay, we're looking at images curated by Tracy Duran. There's a beautiful video on auroradowntown.org right now about the history of Aurora's train stations. That content wasn't quickly available in the past. You'd have to reserve a time to go to the go through the filing cabinets at the historic society center. You have to
microfiche.
Yes.
He hates microfiche.
You have to make friends with the genealogists and the microfiche machines to find a picture of a train, or call up someone at the fire museum to find an old picture of a fire truck.
Right.
And now, because of the grassroots work done by Aurora's just enthusiasts, history enthusiasts.
Totally.
They have entire albums dedicated to various themes. There's of Aurora's history, so you can go through and see, fire history, agricultural history, grocery store history, and they'll just be
specific buildings. Like this morning, I saw someone asking about the Hobbs building. They had a picture, an older picture, and again,
which is Galena and River.
Yeah. And then Vicki Moore is points them to the folder that she's already got, blocks of information. It's awesome.
Free and just
really cool.
With your fellow citizens waiting to share
enthusiasts for sure.
The interview I did with Brian Failing at the Fire Museum, to what you're talking about, that was, I saw the place before, I knew what was in it. Cool, they got some old stuff. But now we're sitting right behind one of these old, that's not a fire truck, that's a fire engine. What makes it a fire engine? Cool. Seriously. I'm learning on my own show, shit like this.
It puts education, local education on hyperdrive, really, or warp speed, I suppose.
Well, to me, it is what makes
hyperdrive
culture.
Star Wars,
Yeah. Okay.
Hyperdrive not going into
light speed.
What was it? Yeah. It's not like skipping rocks, kids.
It's really fast to find out a whole bucket of information.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, you can do just the deep dive.
And then, for an artist, that means that in a couple hours, you have source material that you can start drawing from and constructing your story and your narrative behind your visual work.
Literally drawing.
Things that would take years or months before, you could be starting in minutes.
I was just going to circle back about that. So the last video that I think was on Aurora Downtown in regards to the to this Aurora Express, and I think Tracy Duran narrated it. There was one nugget about why the trains kind of started coming into Aurora, and it was, I guess, connected to, the larger narrative of just shipping and receiving, but Illinois, I guess, right at that time was really peaking as far as grain production. It was the largest grain producer in the United States. The soil in Illinois and the Midwest is really second to none. There's, I think, 2 other places in the world where the soil is as rich, nutrient rich.
China, one place in China.
One, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think I am let's plant a little flag in this conversation too.
Sure.
There's something else that I like about you. I've always liked about you. Your country.
Yeah,
You got a. I like that about you. We're in.
If I wasn't in
places.
the pool, I was out on the farm. That's pretty much how it worked.
And that's our main connection.
Yeah.
Our main connection is actually not art. Our main connection is agriculture.
Yeah.
And
They all cook good too. You fed me that day. Well, what was the party salad? What was that?
Oh,
what was the name of
that was like a fall harvest salad. It had
Yeah,
kale and apples and sunflower seeds.
It was good.
I'm glad you ate that. We made too much.
That was a hippie salad.
It was. Yeah.
Oh, it was super hippie.
I
Yeah.
was showing my roots.
I had vibes after that. I was like, yes. It was good.
That was an Ithaca salad special.
Both Josh and I come from farm families, and we realize I don't know anyone else with this kind of commonality, but both our mom and our dads come from farming families where we still actually have the land in the family.
Where are you from?
I was born in Batavia, New York, and that's where my mom's farm family has been for over 200 years.
Wow.
And on my dad's side, but we moved from Batavia to Deposit, New York, which is a small logging and agricultural community.
Deposit, New York?
Yep.
Fire the guy who named that.
It's because they cut trees
it's named
down.
after the reason.
Yeah. They literally cut trees down and deposited them in the Delaware River.
Not very original.
And then
utilitarian.
floated them down to New York City. And so it was a very utilitarian name. Like, go to deposit the logs in the river.
But the drinking water from where her family farm is, the drinking water is essentially stored in distributed to New York City.
That I would play in on it was called Cold Spring Creek in Deposit, and this beautiful, this very isolated place. From the top of one hill to the top of the other. There's no other buildings. There's just our little farmhouse in the middle with a couple barns, and you could walk all day. Not quite make it from one side to the other. The streams that I would play in as a child flowed into the Delaware River, which flowed into the reservoir, Cannonsville Reservoir, and that was the drinking water for New York City.
It's pretty idyllic.
So, from an environmental perspective, there was, in the early 80s, there was this big tug of war between New York City and this Delaware River area because New York City had to have higher quality drinking water.
Right.
And they were about to commandeer the land around the water delivery system, and the farmers all got together and said, no, we're going to take care of this ourselves. And what they ended up doing was planting more and more forests, and it's the trees that act as filtration to clean the water as it comes.
Well, and they hold the water.
Yes.
Right.
So really there's a massive kind of coming together of the Delaware area farmers. And anyways, so here I am in another water-drenched ecosystem. The Fox River Valley there's more life right here around the Fox River than anywhere else in Illinois. Like the river system actually feeds, the people, the plants, the animals, the things. It's all about the river.
It is a vacation land, really. You don't have to go far to kind of really get the vibe of this is a place where, many people would consider really kind of a vacation destination.
Camping, fishing, all that stuff.
There's just so much to do.
Yeah.
And culture and things to see and plays and
the first art piece that we worked on together, back to art, was commissioned by New England Congregational Church, one of the oldest churches in the
Shout
world.
out. Shout out.
Pastor Gary McCann.
Isn't it the second oldest?
Audra Darche. I don't know.
I think it is.
We've done a lot of news stories about them.
It's a cool
Oh,
place.
yeah?
Yeah.
You've been in that church?
No, I've not.
It is.
You-
I've never
It's like
been
a
in.
museum.
Oh my God, it's
Amazing.
so cool.
Yeah, I
It
gotta-
is.
Yeah,
It's
I gotta reach out for a
inspiring.
tour. Yeah.
They have the window, the
Tiffany glass
Tiffany
window. It's
right?
beautiful. They have hand carved.
Isn't the
From Germany, hand carved.
it's
I don't
I thought I
know.
heard this, but I could be wrong. about like that window is worth like almost as much as the building. I thought it's very valuable.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
We sit up in the balcony, and I stare at that thing the whole time. I basically plant myself.
Right here.
Yeah, this is it. Well, this is not
With
it.
the sunshine.
This is my little tiny reproduction of the window as the sun.
The first art piece we ever worked on together was a commission from the New England Congregational Church, and it brings together all the themes that we were passionate about. We have a river flowing through, and you have the city of Aurora right here with Leland Town.
Okay, hold on.
Church.
This is just a print of the 17-foot mural that's in the children's art room.
Yeah.
So it was Audra Darche's vision.
Yep.
She asked if we would be interested in painting a mural in or for the children's art room, and I said absolutely. And then Rebekah, it was
my. I kind of responded to her
Wait a minute.
with the idea.
But wait,
Okay.
you got a letter in the mail like shortly after that
I did.
with
this Bible
this
verse.
quote.
Yeah, this Bible verse is from the book of Revelation, and
Yeah.
it talks about a river flowing from heaven down through the middle of the city streets, and there's the tree of life which produces fruit and for the healing of the nations. So that came in the mail, and I was like, that's the theme.
It's a deep theme.
Yeah, it's really deep.
Can you? Would you mind reading that, Rebekah?
Oh, sure. Okay, the angel showed me the river of life-giving water, clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb, and down the middle of the city streets. On either side of the river grew the trees of life, which produce fruit 12 times a year, once each month, and the leaves are for the healing of the nations. So, we had just been working with Mavis Bates and the team at Aurora Green Fest for many years to really kind of bring education about sustainability initiatives into Aurora. And the themes in here, how do we heal the nations? How do we heal our land? The land has been pretty beat up after 150 years of industrialization. Aurora used to be surrounded by orchards and vegetable farms, and all the food that was needed to feed this entire region was grown right here in the region. Which became the theme for the mural on LaSalle Street at the next right next door to us here.
Oh yeah,
Well,
right around the corner. That's right.
Yeah, literally right.
All about the food.
So
Shout out to Nate.
I
All
met
about the food.
Rebekah
Nate Martin.
Yep.
in 2012. She was working with Aurora Green Fest, and you were totally struggling with all of the design files.
Yeah, I was working with the old.
She was just trying to make some posters,
I was trying to make
but all the files she had were not sufficient to make something reasonable. And so that was the first year that I finally bought a Macintosh computer. I had been wanting, I had a Macintosh in college, and I worked with Macintosh computers in college, but I never really had my own, with like legitimate software on it that I could do things with. So she's struggling with, I don't even know what you were
Let's
using.
not talk about my struggles.
No, come on, this is part of the thing.
On a podcast.
No, this is part of the story. So I'm like,
for the
let's
first time
figure
in
this
my
out.
life, I'm doing a creative project without an entire team of technologists and designers. I had just come from working at the VeggieTales company with artists from like Karen Poth and John Troush and Paul Conrad from Disney and from Pixar.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
So
goodness.
she could just hand it over to whoever, and they'd be like, woo-hoo!
It was like,
Bam.
it was art heaven.
Yeah.
Like, I had 300 artists and technology people around me all
You're
the
working
time.
in a warehouse full of super art nerds.
Over in Lombard.
And then you end up like trying to...
VeggieTales.
Yeah.
You know VeggieTales?
Bob the tomato and Larry
it's
the
a thing.
cucumber. See, it's all about the food.
It's a big thing.
Hmm.
It's sort of like the Pixar, Christian version of Pixar.
Okay.
Well, technically, VeggieTales got their stories direct to home video before Pixar did.
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're doing full CGI animation, direct to home video.
Really good
Awesome.
stuff.
That is an awesome piece.
It is.
So this was super fun.
So yeah. So anyways, the
So
Green
circling
Fest
back.
themes all got landed. That we channeled all of that into this first commission, and that's why there's solar panels on top of the roofs.
Yep.
There's rooftop gardens.
Hey, I can see my house from here.
That's right. There's farms not just with corn and soybeans, but there's farms with actual fruit trees and nut trees
Yep.
over here.
And their little doggy.
And the river, yeah, the river connects the the rural area with the urban area in harmony, and you got this big old picnic in the middle
Yep.
where everybody coming together.
What is
Food first.
Aurora's?
Yeah.
What's Aurora's biggest strength? We'll start with you.
Aurora's biggest strength,
Yeah,
the river.
that's what
I'm
I
just
think.
gonna say it sits on the Fox River.
What do you think, Josh?
I think Aurora's biggest strength is the people. Because
River still be here after the people. Who
yeah, but the people. So part of the river story in Aurora was how it was practically decimated due to the industrial growth, and there was a reason for
Well,
all
let me
that.
interject. When I first
But it was up to the people to clean it up after that. So,
when I
I'm
moved
just
to
gonna give it to the
Aurora,
people.
I could not believe that there was a river that people didn't want to swim in. I had
Yeah.
never in my life been in a situation where in the summertime we would, where I grew up in Ithaca, New York, summer comes and you're swimming in every creek, the lakes.
Have you
You're
been in
just
Ithaca?
jumping in the water.
You gotta go.
Everybody's jumping in the water. I grew up swimming in
The
waterfalls.
lakes there are fantastic.
Yeah, you swim every single day.
Don't
water,
go
you get into it.
chasing waterfalls.
I'm telling you.
Listen to the ring.
So when I came here and I learned that people didn't swim in the river, it took me a couple years to digest this information. I was shocked.
The only person who I ever see messing with the water in any fashion is Charlie Zane.
And
Yep.
when,
He's taking
Yeah.
advantage of
Absolutely,
the fact
yeah.
that there is a river. Like, what?
Absolutely.
What the hell?
When
He
Charlie
is a
Charlie
force to be reckoned with.
is the person to talk to about the history of the
For
Fox
sure.
River,
Yeah.
and Frank
Stay tuned.
Caffey.
Stay tuned.
And
Stay
Frank
tuned.
Caffey at the time as well, she worked with Sierra Club to do major water testing. And Charlie was the one that showed us, hey, we can get on our boats and we can kayak. And, the more we get on the river, the more interest there will be in keeping the river clean
Right.
and reconnecting with it again. So,
I had some fun from Geneva, Tavia, St. Charles, all the places along the river and everything, and there's a lot to see.
Yeah.
Cool
Yeah.
stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really cool things.
Yeah.
Like that huge windmill, that Dutch
Yeah.
style windmill up there.
Yep.
My favorite
Favorite
part.
part,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real nice to be out there.
The Fox River goes all the way up to Wisconsin.
Yes.
Basically,
I haven't been up there yet.
originates
Yeah.
in the chain of lakes, Fox.
but the people, I'm sorry. So we were back to
Oh
the
yeah,
people.
yeah, sure.
Or now let's
The question.
let's not go to Wisconsin just yet.
We're
Let's
just
stay
going
here.
on. Well, you said the river.
I did.
so
we're going
But
up
you
the
said
river.
the people.
I'm just giving it where it comes from.
Up the river.
Yeah, but the people, again, it makes people make culture. Culture makes for
The
life
people
experience.
tell the stories of the history of the
Yeah,
place.
keep it
And
alive.
people dream the dreams
Yeah.
that become the future of
Yeah.
the place.
And they can either
That's where art comes
yeah
in.
they can either choose to put in condos or whatever.
Murals.
I'm
or
nervous
murals,
about
you know.
I'm nervous about development in Aurora.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm nervous that they're going to put new buildings too close to the river in the future. I think that you got to be real careful about guarding that area right near the water. So, sure, do we want some new development? Absolutely. But in no way, shape, or form can you take away that public access to
yeah,
the
just
water.
like Chicago did with the lake, where there's like it's a serious restriction ban on anything but public access to the
Right.
lakefront. I think that should be the same for the river on both sides. I mean,
Not just for the first block, honestly, for at least 2 or 3 blocks.
well, I mean,
You don't want to block the view.
you go to, like you said, Batavia, Geneva, St. Charles. There's a lot of public access to the river. I mean, the bike trail that runs along mostly both sides. That's fantastic. I mean, the parks. I think that goes a long way.
There's the trail that goes down there, so on the side where La Quinta is, that
Yep.
also goes back behind Jake's.
Yep.
Like, And then you keep going, and then you got River Edge Park.
And now there's going to be a new bridge there.
There's a bridge there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see much more development that took away from like the natural landscape.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I want development in Aurora. I would love, build it up.
Yeah.
But my visual and nature,
Yeah.
I don't want it cluttered no more. That bridge, keep that shit. I don't want to see a big skyscraper now down by Indian Trail or something that's so big it's blotting out the
Yeah.
I want to be able to, me and my son ride bikes down the trail, people on the patio at Jake's eating and chilling.
Right.
Then go up there to, that would be Illinois Avenue. Go across Veterans Monument, right?
Yep.
The water keeps going.
Yep.
Yeah. And in fact, we're dreaming, when we first started on the mural on LaSalle Street, and we're proposing other ideas for the Aurora Art Commission, back whenever that was, 3 or 4 years ago now. We realized, man, if we could just get enough art pieces right along the riverfront trail, that would be a wonderful feature for Aurora. So you basically have a walkable, bikeable art trail right down by the river.
Right.
Well, there
again,
are
just bringing people, just more and more reasons to hang out and to get to know the natural features of them.
So let's go back. It is I believe the morning after all of the hubbub and the rioting downtown.
Yeah.
As ugly as the night before was, the next morning was the exact opposite.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Cleaning up, people are chilling, having a good time.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel being out and about and seeing so many people, many of which who were not, well-known, reputable artists, but just putting art up?
People just showed up. They just wanted to do something good. I mean, there were definitely people that I had never seen before. We woke up and saw, looking online and photos of people just showing up with brooms cleaning up glass, like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
They were on it.
Right.
And I don't know how it was organized. Like, how did people decide? They just we're just going downtown.
Right.
We're not having any of this.
Honestly, by
It was
9:30
amazing.
a.m., people were saying, I think we picked up.
Yeah,
It was like a party by 9:30 a.m.
Seriously, I was having some coffee. I'm like,
I went
okay,
back over to
do
the
I need to
community
bring
garden.
anything?
I didn't even come
Yeah,
down.
they're all like, no, we're good. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
that's cool.
I'm gonna go.
It was wild. It was amazing. And then I don't know if it was. I think it was Jen reached out.
Jen
Evans. I
public
feel
art
like
director.
Shout out.
sent a message and saying, we're going to get paint supplies. They're going to be boarded, putting boards up on the windows that were all smashed out, and we're going to be just painting. And so, do you want to come down? Can you come down? Yeah, absolutely. And Javi was there. We all met up at the bank over just right down the road here.
Yeah, so that's Broadway and
Galena.
Yep.
So everyone just kind of organized there of the people that were going to be interested in painting. Javi kind of broke people out in groups, and the group that I was in, I think it was maybe like 6 people. I think we basically got the jewelry shop there.
Right.
It was like 3 panels, and everyone just kind of set up camp. I brought enough paint and brushes and drop cloths, and then actually the one woman that was in my group, she had this little wagon and she had gallons of paint, and the colors were just awesome. Like,
Right.
let's just go with this. Like,
Yeah.
these are great. Because we're all like, well, what are we gonna do? And we kind of all just decided on a sunrise, fitting the Aurora theme. But there was just great messaging. It was a party. I mean, it was a good, and it turned into a really good party. And is that how we first met?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's it. Yeah.
We literally
that
met
evening.
Yeah.
Was it when you were breaking curfew?
Yeah, no, we were across the street. Not yet. But we were across the street.
Yep.
You were across the street. We went over. Jen brought us over there.
Yeah.
So we were hanging out with, I think Jose Art was over there.
Jose Art was there. Chris Garcia was there.
Yeah.
Another guy by the name of Ulysses was there.
Okay.
Everybody was sharing food.
Yeah.
Like this came
bottles of water.
Yeah.
The lady had a chicken.
That's right!
Remember that?
I forgot about the chicken. Oh, yeah.
This lady's walking
I
around
got to
with
hold the chicken.
this lady's walking around with a chicken.
Yeah. I forgot her pet chicken.
And the police stopped by and they said, we want a picture with that chicken.
Yeah, totally. That's
We're out there
right.
hanging out.
Oh, man.
We had food.
Yeah, we thought the police were going to be like, all right, wrap it up. And they're like, no, we're
get out
not
of here.
with that chicken.
We did that, and then
Well, then we went out and saw Sam.
Cervantes.
Up here on LaSalle.
Shout out, on LaSalle Street, Crystal House.
Yeah,
shout out.
Crystal House,
That was a good one too.
Yeah, that was
We
great.
picked up Nate Martin, who lives in the mural on LaSalle Street.
Yeah, shout out to Nate Martin.
He's the man in the mural.
Yeah, he is the man. Yep.
It's been a very encouraging.
He's going to be a daddy here pretty soon.
Yep. You got a baby on the way.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
That was great. I mean, for everything that happened, what came of it, that was really, I think, a very large part of the impetus of this sort of new, I don't know, art movement, I guess. If you
it's a log that's still burning on that fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Like it really kicked it up a notch for sure. I think in part because more people realized sort of the power of it, and also more people realized, oh, this is doable, and more people realized this can happen in a morning, overnight. I mean, we were working on those for a couple days even after that. So there was, connections, interest.
The professionalism was able to be seen.
Yeah. It was there was a lot of factors I think that went into propelling it into
That may have been
something.
the reason why a couple months later, for the Sugar Skull City theme, celebrating Dia de los Muertos, suddenly you started seeing more large-scale painting happening on the windows all over town.
Well,
I had never seen that before.
Also, meeting up
like
at O'Malley's. Which not too long after that.
Yeah,
I feel like
days
a couple
after
weeks.
that.
It was just a week.
A little bit, something like that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Everybody got together.
That was.
It was the first
I think we
meeting
need to do that
of
again.
what became the Aurora Arts Alliance, which, by the way, is a Zoom meeting tonight at 7.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If anyone would like Kate Pearl and Jennifer.
Shout out to Kate.
Organizing that.
7 o'clock tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a good group of people. And again, since then, because of that, everyone sort of reached out to each other on Instagram, on Facebook, share your handle. So it was a good group up,
I met 6 of my Instagram friends who we've been following each other for over a year.
Okay.
And had never met.
Yeah.
I met 6 of them.
Nice.
In those days.
In person?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh,
shit. Oh, yeah. It was, it was great.
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love when that happens. Yeah, because it's like,
I met a landscaper. He was friends with, went to high school with Fisk Garcia. His name's Peter Herrera.
Oh, yeah.
And I met him on Broadway. He was with Raul, who was painting on the corner.
Okay.
And turned out he often had
I didn't realize you met him there.
Yeah, I met him on Broadway, and I said, "Hey, I'm starting a garden for the Aurora Food Pantry, and I need bark bark chips.
Yeah.
Do you ever?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I have some of the best trees that are so good for that." And he knew exactly what type of wood would be best for.
He knows his trees.
For garden mulch.
He's a cool guy. Very cool guy.
And the rest of the summer, every couple weeks, he'd say, "Hey, Rebecca, I've got some more bark mulch for you." So he totally became a key figure in helping establish the garden at the food pantry.
Yep.
The time is now 8:44 a.m.
Oh, man. See,
you are
right.
listening to Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. And it's all about art today with friends of the show, Josh Schultz and Rebekah Axtell.
That's right.
All right. So, as far as history goes with the city, we talked about the days when there used to be cornfields, you can only go past certain roads, and this building used to be that. In regards to the history of art in the city, before the mural here on the side, what are some of the early pieces and collaborations that you guys can remember taking part in?
Collaborations, I gotta think about that for a second. But I did a post recently, looking back on my memory of a huge mural that I used to drive past. I got the photo, Jen Evans got the photo from, I don't remember where it was. I think it was a photo that was taken when they were, when the new fire station was under construction. There used to be this huge, that I called the electric snake, I think, and some people call it the electric worm, but it's this very retro 70s, kind of my favorite sort of style, just...
Yes, it is. That is your style.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, this was more abstract. I lean towards like a figurative, I guess, style. But it was easily one of the biggest murals that I remember as a kid. And I'm talking like grade school. We used to drive by. This was maybe in the 80s. And it was on the side, the north side of what is now the La Quinta building.
Okay.
So there is a mural there now. It's the Lincoln Trail.
An installation of, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Lincoln
Highway mural. That's there now, which is much smaller and not even close to being 70s and
the opposite.
Like, just bold and crazy. And it just like, so to me, that is sort of...
I mean, all you need to know is that the city, at one point in decades past, forced the owner to take it off.
Sandblast it. Yeah.
Sandblast it off.
But at one point, that was there. You know what I mean? And
it's huge stripe of color.
You don't have to go that far back to remember what was happening in Aurora in the glory days of Aurora, when Aurora was a destination from Chicago. Again, this was the vacation land for the elite, you could say, pretty well off, well-to-do. Right. The Fox Valley was the getaway for these kinds of people in Chicago. They take the train out and they go up, into Leland Tower, the Sky Club up there, and party. And there were, circuses happening. I mean, back when theaters were,
right.
I mean, it was like a whole.
It was it.
It was like Vegas. It was like an entertainment mecca. So those vibes, those things are still reverberating, in the alleys and streets of Aurora.
But there was all I'm aware of, having come to Aurora in 2000. Is that there was nothing.
It's turned into like a blank canvas.
Yes,
all of that just got washed down the river or something. You know what I mean?
And it almost felt like there was a fear of expression. And I don't know if this is accurate, but I think Sam Cervantes was in the room. He would have some thoughts on that.
Oh, for sure.
He grew up in Aurora and was creating art as a teenager.
Right.
And art that also was subsequently taken down.
Yeah. Right.
And you would really have to ask some of the people in leadership at the time about why were people afraid of art?
There's a huge shift.
My speculation is that there was so much, Aurora had a lot of there was a lot of fighting, there was a lot of...
there was turmoil.
There was turmoil, and
absolutely.
I think people were afraid of...
making light of turmoil.
I think they just didn't have the energy to navigate between cultures in a way that was productive and celebratory. So instead of opening up pathways for all the various cultures in Aurora to have some expression in the public art sphere, they just stopped it all. Yeah. That's my speculation.
Right.
Just didn't have the energy left to deal with it, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna make a blank slate. We're gonna just clean everything up. We only want to see, let's just get the buildings painted straight colors or keep the original finishes untarnished. And it seems like there was a fear of delving into those waters.
So with that too, I kind of felt like there was a I wouldn't call it a fear. I felt like there was a decision or at least a climate of thought amongst leadership that, you know what, instead of shaking the beehive of all these people who, you know, will inundate us with emails and all kinds of shit, we'll feed them a little bit here, a little bit there. We'll give them a little bit of this, we'll give them a little bit of that. We'll let them do some mailboxes or what's the electrical boxes.
Yeah.
Let them do this.
Yeah.
We'll turn the faucet.
Well,
And allow that.
now
And
you're
I-
talking about the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I say that, yeah, exactly. And the reason why I say that, and I brought about the log analogy with the after the George Floyd thing, is because that saw and kind of erased that mode of thought, thinking like, you know what? No, look, this is therapy, or there's a therapeutic side to it. Like these people are all coming together, cleaning up the city on their own, and all they want to do is splash and paint. Shit, let them have it.
Yeah.
If that's what it takes, fine.
Yeah.
Let them eat cake.
Sure, I
You
think
know?
in the sense.
Well, that was actually a better, that was a good way to use that because
Cake was the
Cake
instantaneous
tastes good.
expression.
yeah, cake is good.
It was fresh baked cake,
Gotta eat your
fresh baked
vegetables.
art.
Exactly.
It was a way that the community could respond and heal itself
Right.
after a rupture.
And it was positive at this point in time. There's no thinking of, okay, well, what's the message behind?
Right.
The message is shut up and let us paint.
Yep.
And it's all good.
And honestly, if there's more opportunities, city leadership should be racing to accommodate opportunities for those organic local expressions. And hats off, Jen Evans definitely has put that into the master plan that she's been working on. With
Shouts out to Aurora Public Art.
the public art. So
art. I mean, it doesn't take much to see how. And I always say this to Rebecca. It's amazing to realize how powerful color and shape and form and line, and you don't even need words, but what people would call art, what it does, one way or the other, to boggle people's brains and get them riled up, excited, or mad and, crazy. I mean, it can go either way. But regardless, it does stir things up in people. It gets people's attention. It brings other people in that may have never, even wanted to come, let's just say downtown, you know what I mean? And so that's the thing to me about Aurora insofar as yes, okay, everything was just painted brown, let's say. So it was like that was the canvas, it was sort of in a way like getting the canvas ready, just the base coat. And so, but after a while, it gets real boring just looking at a blank canvas. And so I've always said this about Aurora since day one, I think, since I was able to be aware of it. It's the potential, right? It's so much potential for downtown, for Aurora at large, but it seems like in the art scene, the downtown is more of the focus, because I don't know what it is. Well, again, I think it's back to what it used to be, and that's still ringing. Like the culture, the entertainment mecca that it was, I feel like it's still resonating in downtown. And so when people come in, we see this happen all the time. We see people come into Aurora, and you've been here, we've been here a number of years, I've been here a lot of years, and there's just this excitement. They just start to see, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this was this? Oh, remember, they start to hear stories, and then there's just this
Aurora's
thing that happens.
Aurora's like a nice, beautiful pair of dancing shoes that are just sitting there.
Yeah.
And it's like, you remember back when you just had man, we put on some good shows, we put on some good shows. And you're thinking about them man, they still good.
Yes.
They sitting right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, for sure.
That's what Aurora is.
Yeah,
you're sitting at the light at Broadway in New York and you're just looking at these buildings.
The Paramount, look what the Paramount has done, over the last few years. Amazing. Amazing.
In my mind right now, I'm just thinking about the crowds that are in front of the Paramount wedding or some shit. They're taking pictures and selfies and they throw on the bouquet and the cars are right there parked watching it. because the light, because
Yeah.
it's up, in the Aurora fast print across the street. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
I got to get this question out though, and this is about style when it comes to art and when you guys are painting everything. You like big murals.
I like big. Yes,
big
I like
shit.
painting.
You're not trying. You don't
Fun stuff.
You like it. Now I'm gonna surmise here. Just let me think.
Sure.
What you like about it is you like the camaraderie, putting it together. You like the whole shit happening. You like the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You like the he doing the yellow.
Yeah.
But you don't see it like he. We doing the yellow's getting done, the blue's getting done, the
Yeah.
purple's getting done.
Yeah.
How we doing out here? Everybody cool?
Yeah.
Got a little music playing.
Yeah.
Jesus is just all right with me. Everybody's chilling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what you're in it for.
Absolutely.
Teamwork.
No, I love that.
Teamwork.
Yeah, it's my favorite part. For
But
sure.
it's really fun. You see somebody come in. So what you're talking about is like a collaborative effort, which
Yes.
we recently enjoyed at behind the Tortas Guadalajara on Galena and Lake is the most recent piece commissioned by Aurora downtown. I think we had 19 people all come together to paint that this summer.
Yep.
And so there's just you actually feel different when you paint with certain colors, because you're up there and you're like, you got yellow in your eyeballs, or you got red in your eyes,
Oh,
or
Right.
Color
black
therapy.
in your eyes. It's
I mean,
different.
art therapy,
Right.
color therapy.
And you can
Yeah.
see like sometimes that lone bristle
Yeah.
with enough paint on it, and if you turn that brush a certain way, you ain't got to dip back in the thing. You can just
See?
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
That's what paint does.
That's what it is.
So Jim Cordy showed up, and
Yep.
he's looking a little.
Shout out to Jim
Yeah.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Everybody's just been stuck inside their homes for so long.
Yeah.
Jim Cordy shows up to help, and I took a look at him. Jim, it seems like you might want to paint this bright teal. I
Right.
said, oh, okay. And then you hand him the yellow. And he's like, oh, you just.
Yeah.
It was fun to kind of pass out the colors.
The
Well, yeah.
gold.
Depending on what
Yeah,
mood
the
you
gold
were in.
is fantastic. Yeah. And that's again what I said before about how just color and shape and line and form, what it does physiologically to a person. It's the magic. That's like what you're saying about the paint, the brush. It is a magical thing, and the community, when the community comes together, then it's like a happening. Then we're all hanging out. Then Marissa brings pizza. Then we're eating together. It's just
And then after all
it's
is
just
said and
good
done,
stuff.
what has happened is that for the first time in decades, people have cared about this little
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Instead of it being a chipped,
did you see it before?
dilapidated.
Water marks,
Oh.
rust,
Yeah.
water runoff,
No one's even
empty
bothering.
bags of chips and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah,
I-
right.
Yeah, it was okay.
Suddenly you want to pick up the garbage
Mhm.
because it's like.
I used to live right around the corner from there.
Okay.
So that place, I've been seeing that nothing of an empty space
Yeah.
back there for a long time. It wasn't
Yeah.
shit. It was just an eyesore.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing about Tortas Guadalajara that you would even know to even bring attention to it was the simple fact that it just so happened to be on like one of the busiest
Which is
intersections.
crazy to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason I ever went in there to have a sandwich was because I was there and we needed to eat some lunch, and their sandwiches are great.
Right.
But I've driven past that thousands of times, and I don't know what it is. I just don't go.
Exactly.
I like the food, but I've never gone before then, and so what you're saying about cleaning up just one little sliver, I would love for that to be like baked into a city position, like a staff sort of painter's position.
Right.
That could be like, part of the maybe streets committee or something but it's just like a couple guys, and I know they already do this, like they paint the light poles, the lamp
black
posts, and
every
stuff.
string.
But there could be like a.
Yeah.
They're putting amazing flowers here. The Kathy, what's her last name? Who does the floral, the landscapes? Kathy.
She does a good job though.
She's awesome. She's so nice. The stuff she puts. I mean, to me, she's doing that. They're doing that every year. That's like a living mural that's happening. Growing and happening year round, or not year round, but year after year.
Right.
So again, stuff like that I think is fantastic. And so, if there was some kind of decorator's position. You know what I mean? That would just be
honestly,
moving this forward.
It's
just so good.
Yeah,
just cleaning up and painting. Paint goes a long way.
It's not that large of an area down here.
It's really not.
Make sure all the store facades are crisp and clean.
Yeah.
It would go a long way to.
And again,
elevate
like if it were like you're saying, that sort of group activity. I mean, it's sort of like when there's Fox River cleanup happening.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason why it couldn't be. Oh, we're going to paint this building today. Provided there's a grant money and everyone's taken care of, and everyone gets to eat lunch. And it's not.
It's about caring about your space.
Boy, that would be cool.
It would be cool.
They did. Yeah, I did one of the cleanups organized out of the Kohl's Center.
Okay.
And they had it squared away.
Yeah.
You got there. They had tables. Cereal, boxes of milk, the whole shit.
Yeah.
They fed
breakfast
over like 200 people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sent them out.
Yeah.
And then when we came
bags and tweezers.
Yeah.
Right?
And then when we came back, we had burgers, hot dogs.
Nice.
Kiwanis?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Because what's her? Kim Granholm was there. She's with Kiwanis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
collaborative.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, we could be doing the same thing. All right, y'all, go to this station and you're painting this.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
And we do that with Kathy. Planting plugs along the river right behind La Quinta was the last one.
That's right. A whole group of people got together to plant native plantings in a pretty, it was pretty torn up there. There wasn't anything planted. So by the next spring, you should see some lovely native flowers there.
Now we talked about the painting style and the large scale buildings and things like that. When it comes to colors, one thing I noticed about the work in the color scheme and all the stuff you see you guys doing is that shocking, in a good way, standing out, bright, bold. Are you choosing images and choosing themes that will require bright, bold colors like that, or are you simply just taking a theme and making it better?
Hopefully I'm making it better. I think when it comes to paint or murals or just whatever graphic design, I'm all about bright and bold and happy, I guess. I want to first, I think it's important to grab people's attention, so bold and bright colors are going to do that well. It's kind of like planting flowers are there to grab the attention of whatever bumblebee that's going to come around, so it's kind of like it will draw you in. If it's grabbing your attention from a distance, and then you're going to want to, investigate it further. But I think I'm sort of loud and bold somewhat in general. So I kind of lean that way.
No, your painting represents your personality. Damn sure. I've been entertained every time I've dipped the brush with you guys into some shit.
That's good.
I honestly, for the LaSalle mural, the flower boxes, that was my first experience really mixing colors, and there's just so much to paint that it was best if one of us was working on mixing the colors, the other one was Josh's.
That's how Rebecca became the color specialist.
Yeah. And I would pick flowers and bring them over by the paint, and I would just mix the paint to match the actual flower.
Really?
And
it always turned out like you would start with something and you'd realize, holy cow, these are crazy bright. And so that's, again, I think it's sort of taking a note from nature in that way, directly in that respect.
I'm glad that Tortas Guadalajara got that mural behind it.
Yeah, me too.
What other places in Aurora do you guys see and you're sitting there, maybe you're at the light or maybe you're doing this and you're like, you know what?
So many.
This damn wall right here.
Yeah, for sure.
You say so many.
Oh, yeah.
Give me one. What's the one that's bugging the hell out of you guys? What's the one?
The one, I mean, we were just walking. Honestly, along the river, there are at least 5. And again, I think the river is a place where people go to. There's a path. That's just where you want to be. That's where people want to be. So to me, along the river there, honestly, right behind. Actually, while we're sitting, right under there is a super fun, cool little hangout spot. There's a concrete wall in there. That would be nice. That's in the Development Services building.
Okay, yes.
Right.
It's the City of Aurora's Development Services building, and there used to be a parking lot, and that got demolished. So it's adjacent to the farmers market.
Yeah.
There's a whole.
It's just really cool under there.
A whole little.
It's a nice spot.
Venue just waiting to be developed.
There needs to be a guy with a guitar,
ugly concrete walls.
and behind him is a really fun, lively mural of
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Having a good time, right across farmer's market, you out there, peppers, coffee, kids are playing, high-fiving.
Yeah, so that to me is where a mural belongs. Just what you said in that scenario right there.
Yeah.
Where there's music, there's family, and there's food. So that's one of 20.
Yeah.
I mean, on the back side, I think it's a dentist office right here on Downer. Downer is just a great spot.
Yes. I know that.
Facing the river.
That little,
There's a nice big piece right there. That'd be great.
And because it's literally like gray or something.
Yes, it's great. The building's great.
Yeah.
As you're coming down Downer from Lake Street, you can see, all the way up it, and it's just like right there. You can see it all the way from Lake Street.
So for the listeners, if you're coming up Downer,
east on Downer,
right? City Hall is on your left hand side.
Yes, City Hall's on the left, and then that piece is just up and to the right from City Hall. But it's just
that would be beautiful.
Yeah, and that building's just great. Rebecca wants to paint the whole thing, and I'm like, let's just do.
No, I don't want to. I want to see someone paint.
Yeah.
You want to see it painted.
What he means is that I'm not so much a fan of just doing a little postcard on a large building. Yeah. If there's windows, don't worry about the windows.
I want to see
the full,
for sure,
end to end, side to side.
Yeah.
That's a modern way to do a mural where you just take over.
Wrap the whole building.
Yeah, take over and wrap the whole building. The mural on LaSalle Street is done in a more classical style because the building owner did not want to have the Victorian architecture, didn't want to distract from that.
Of course not.
So
a retro 70s type of joint would look horrible on there.
Yeah.
So we kept it. Yeah. That's a very tame vintage.
It's vintage, yeah. You got a tea shop on the corner right there. I mean, literally, if you took a picture and put it in black and white, you would think you was in 1903 or something like that. Damn.
That building was built 1897. Is that right?
Well, that piece was what we did is the concept was to recreate an original grocery store front from the turn of the century, and literally the awning that
that was the original. That's what the building was.
Oh, it was a grocery store.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pierpont
grocery store. Yeah.
Damn.
So it was
learning.
Yeah.
God, the history.
It was a good.
So it's the only place in town you can go and see what those old awning styles actually would have looked like. Like, did the math. They're 3 inches wide. So it's painted to be a replica of those grocery store fronts that we only see pictures of now, where it was more of a European market style with the fresh fruits and vegetables outside.
Mm-hmm. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Right.
Hello, my kind yeah.
So, what wall?
Well, I would love, honestly, every time
see?
that I drive into Aurora from any direction, I think it's those gateways.
Yeah.
It really is not even, sure, we've already talked about the walkable downtown murals, but I'd like to see the fringe opened up sooner than later. There's so much canvas.
Fringe where, like,
I'm talking about anywhere within a mile or so of downtown.
Okay.
As you come into the city, you might be coming in under a viaduct.
The Wayside Cross viaducts. I mean, with that open parking lot that's right across the street, it is an eyesore because there's not anything in there.
Right.
Then you got Carney's restaurant up the street. But when you're coming down, I think there should be a nice continuation piece underneath there because it's gloomy as hell right there.
That's definitely on
it's
Jen's
basically
list.
And they changed the parking lot right there. So when you come in, there's that retro park sign.
Yep.
That was an investment of sprucing up. So I think that little area would be good to match
For sure.
that.
Yeah.
You know?
I would say just honestly the perimeter. To be able to give a welcome, hospitable,
inviting. Absolutely.
welcome. Right now, if you've never been to Aurora and you're just coming in, you're driving in to visit it, it's pretty, you don't get a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Well, I mean,
You're
especially
driving
Lake
into
Street.
town.
Living in Oswego, I've driven from Lake Street 31 into Aurora tens of thousands of times, so many times, like it's ridiculous. And so for sure, there's room for a gateway piece over there. It used to be like a cabinet shop there. Jericho, right on right where that market is there.
Mm-hmm.
Just to the right there would be that's a great piece.
Holy
Big
cow!
wall.
Yeah, that is. Yes.
Yeah.
And right there, right.
That is like a gateway.
That needs
really.
some love.
Yeah.
Because right there it looks like.
It's pretty
where
crunchy.
I'm from. It's like Harvey, Illinois. Like
Yeah.
you're about to cross to Indiana. Right
Yeah.
This is
totally
old steel town type of, Michael
I mean,
Jackson's
even just a
parents
big
type of
welcome
thing.
or just something fun, just liven it up a bit.
Because there's nothing there, and then you go underneath the viaduct where the train is.
Wouldn't take much, and so that I see that all the time.
Yeah.
But then I don't know where it would be or what the wall is, but as you're coming in from the north side on Lake Street, you're getting into Northgate, before you even get to Northgate. But there's just nothing. I mean, there's the theater, right off of, because isn't the boundary isn't 88 the boundary?
Oh, it's in North Aurora there.
Yeah.
Right. There's what's that theater? Tinseltown. Yeah.
Right. But so there's I don't know where it would go, but to me again, gateway scenario.
Yeah.
Needs some focus. And I think what needs
even
to
a
happen.
sign. I mean, like something, little like lights, just
an
something.
emoji of a smile, something.
Yes.
Seriously.
I wanted to do a big behind the. Or I didn't, not myself, but I wanted to see a whole team do an emoji of like a with a party hat on, like celebrating as you're coming in. Behind PME cake decorating, there was a big.
Oh yeah. That's a good
wall.
That's right.
Which is a good temporary surface.
There is, yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
I do.
Plenty of walls, plenty of opportunities.
There needs to be pressure placed on the leadership in the city because right now it's technically still against the law to do large-scale signs or pieces. You have to, get special permission and variances and all that to do anything that's outside of the downtown core.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what,
Well, there's that huge the huge mural at the mall. I think on the back, was it Sears?
The only reason
they're destroying it.
Yeah, are they taking that down? The mural's going away too?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
That was huge.
The picture, I saw a little blurb about it, and the damn wrecking balls and machines were like crumbling.
Okay.
Yeah.
The mural,
now because it's going to be apartments.
Okay. Okay. So that was a temporary deal, so that's why it kind of went through. Anyway, it was awesome. It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was a great mural. Anything like that. to me is.
So we need help with the
Go time.
legislation. I mean, it was a big improvement to open up the opportunities for downtown Aurora, but we need to talk about what's going on in the neighborhoods, really.
Sure.
And open up opportunities for neighborhood, art expression in Aurora's neighborhoods. And that will require streamlining the approval process. I do think there should be an approval process. It is their public spaces.
Yeah, right.
But you don't need 6 different committees, or I don't know.
For heaven's
4 or 5.
sake, you don't.
You need
Right.
2 maximum.
Put the right people on one and you can get it done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
And you really
exactly.
should trust the Aurora Public Arts Commission itself. Maybe that and one other.
Should be the drive, right? Yeah.
One other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there shouldn't be a ministry of paint, a ministry of yellow, a ministry of green.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
It
you gotta
does
run,
go-
now you got to run past the blue committee. Is this teal or is this aquamarine? We don't need all that.
It's strange too how. Okay, it's again back to the potential, and priorities. Like there are a lot of things that end up above the list of public art or mural, or just public art in general.
Most everything is.
Gets
budgeted for.
I think it's when we were talking, and I was going back and forth with the city and Marissa. She was kind of spearheading the mural on Downer. We were both sending information to the city about how art is a placemaking and just the value of it in that sense. And it's proven. I mean, it really is science on some level that when public art happens, it actually raises the value of the place that it's on.
It raises the actual real estate value.
Yeah,
And the commercial value.
Or the places around it.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, the mural here. After, and we knew the owner of the building. After the mural had been started, we were not done with the mural. The building owner posted a photo of the mural as part of the package of this is,
Available for rent.
yeah, renting the building. And he said that he was raising the price of the rent because of the mural and the work that, it's part of the package.
He said he was just getting better
He's getting better feedback, more interest.
Right.
Yep.
Because when someone sees, this is like the psychology again, when someone sees that they're taking this much care to decorate, paint a mural, public art of a building or real estate in general, then there's like, oh well, then this is a place that I would probably want to be because they're taking care of it, like, and that goes a long way. Like you don't want to live somewhere where it's like in shambles. I mean, so it's kind of moving in a direction, and so many people would come by when we were painting over there and just really they were just so thankful and they were so glad to see. It was very heartwarming.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, again, one of my favorite parts of public art and painting like that is situations like that. I mean, people would just tell us their stories. My mom used to live here, and it's been so long. Like all these kinds of things. It's just like.
Yeah, that happens when you're out there doing that. Somebody's walking a dog and was like, I never knew somebody was going to do something to the old library.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Thanks, lady.
Yeah,
Like, oh man, you got keep it up, boys.
Yes,
like, oh,
yeah. It's
great. Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah.
So, I guess circling back, what I'm trying to say about it in that regard is the placemaking of it and the power of it and the potential of it to move it up in the priorities of lists of things insofar as it definitely fits in with reconstruction, reimagining, reinventing a downtown or a city or just a location or a neighborhood.
I think that's like one of the slogans, like reinvigorate or something.
Yeah. So it's like, to me, this is what I do. So
right.
I'm self-serving to some extent, but it does fit in. It is a key component, I guess is what I'm saying, to that.
Economic development.
Yes, to economic development, absolutely.
What was your first job?
Oh, my first job. My first job was certainly working on the farm when I was. I mean, like paid gig? What do you mean exactly?
Wow.
Like just work, job? Yeah, working on the farm, bringing in beans from the field, baling hay with my uncle.
Cleaning out the corn crib.
Right, shoveling. That was definitely my first job, and mowing lawns with my dad.
All the dirty work.
Yeah, grunt work.
My first job was feeding the calves.
Yeah.
The milk.
Yeah. And look at so from that to the farm now is in a different sense. The walls paint the city.
It's still the dirty work.
Well,
it really is.
Okay, so I know it
for sure.
I've seen you guys. I know the beginning and the end. I've seen the
just painting in general is like 70% prep work.
Right.
You go in and it's like, okay, I know what it needs to look like. I know what I want it to look like. But in order to get from here to there, I got a lot of shit to do to take care of it, to get it ready. For what I want it to look like. And so, back to the farm, definitely painting was the summer gig. And my cousins and I would be staining or painting the barns, and it would take, because we'd be working just weekends kind of thing, a good, almost all the summer to get from one end to the other. So same kind of deal. It's like, okay, I know what it should look like, but we're going to be climbing up on the ladder, and it's going to take us this weekend, and that weekend, and this weekend, so it's a process.
Rains?
Yeah, for sure. Right. Rain. I mean, so working outside is it's definitely not for everyone. I mean, but I enjoy it. That's also part of the fun of it is when you're outside with people on a project, people on a ladder and the scaffolding, and you're kind of like sort of managing and like, you need this, you need that. That's just fun. It's a production, It's like a play.
It's the mix. It's being in the mix. It's literally stirring the Kool-Aid. There's people who watch things happen. There's people who make things happen. Yeah. I like to be in the nuts and bolts of the shit, which is why I really appreciated being able to put some paint on that wall for that Aurora mural, because I thought about, I thought forward, like what it could be based on what I had seen. Yeah. What I had always seen of it was just not pretty. It's just not anything. Yeah. So
if you'd like to be in the nuts and bolts of it, we're gonna call you next time. You're scraping.
Yeah, I'll let your boy, because I was not able to get up there when you guys put, like, this is where I wanted to get. I gotta get this on the interview too. The Star Wars theme.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
That shit is looking really nice. Yeah. Very nice.
It's funny. That was.
Now you're talking about like the listeners. You gotta explain what you're talking about here.
Aurora Downtown, as an organization, decided to do another version of the Sugar Skull City project that they put together. I think started as just posters for windows that they were gonna auction off, and they reached out to artists, and there were many posters, and then it kind of evolved from there and started splashing up, some window art. Pierre put a really nice piece on Society 57. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so the sort of second version of that was now this winter windows project that they decided to call Aurora Express. So I was made aware of the project by Colleen at Peyton's Photography. She got an email as part of the Aurora Downtown organization. She gets, she's a business owner, so she gets updated. She reached out to me, let's do a window, and what do you think we should do Star Wars, like Christmas Star Wars? I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Because I know her husband, I've known him since grade school, and he and I have been pretty deep into Star Wars forever. So that was her theme, and she wanted to do that on the windows, and I was more than willing, and that sounded great. And then it was like a day or something after that, she sends me another email, and she was like, oh no, it's Aurora Express with trains and transportation. What are we gonna do? And I said, well, this is already we'd already kind of schemed out some things. And I said, I'm pretty sure that Imperial Walkers counts as transportation. I mean, it's
so
it was real loose, like fitting in, and then it just kind of got carried away after that. Then
because that's the Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing. It's winter. It's
that was the
best
coolest
winter. Scene.
I'm honestly shocked at all the enthusiasm for a Star Wars themed Christmas
People
window.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was
great.
Weird.
She's just not a Star Wars
nerdy.
fan.
And then suddenly people are like, oh, wow, and I'm happy.
Well,
I'm happy people are happy.
Colleen is she's like a super cheerleader when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she definitely was selling it, and so now all spooked up. When I first showed up and told them about it, they were like, "Oh man, we want to do that. We want to do that." Like, okay,
well,
we can
it's
do
always
that.
next year, baby.
Yeah. Well, it's not even winter yet, so.
What's coming up next?
No, you gotta finish. You got 2 winter windows to finish.
I do. Yeah, I've got a couple more windows to paint.
They're getting a tauntaun with their lovely cat, Francis.
Yeah, Francis on Tauntaun. So that's going to carry through.
Oh, wow, that's going to be iconic.
Yeah. Right here.
You know Francis.
Oh, yeah. I know Francis.
Francis the cat.
He's awesome.
And then I think you're doing another Yeti, a window for the Yeti.
Yep.
No Star Wars.
But are you asking what's next? Well, in Aurora, that's in Aurora.
Art-wise? Big art pieces in Aurora?
I think, there's going to be waiting, there's still COVID status.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing what you guys are up to, locally kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm working on an album cover also.
You're working on an album cover for a band named Kadoosh.
Yeah, Kadoosh. Which is funny.
I'm working on drawings to expand the community garden for the food pantry.
Okay.
Kind of add another couple hundred square feet.
Have you been there yet? No. The one on Jericho? Pretty
my
awesome.
dream
Well, I've
for
been to the
next
food
year.
pantry, but I've never been to the community garden.
Yeah.
What I need your help with is your friends right up the road from the food pantry have access to a large body of water.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
Yeah.
And I need to talk to someone who could authorize the use of just a little bit of the water that's in that pond to be pumped into our water tanks, so that we don't have to bother the fire department quite so much to fill our water tanks.
Got a good guy. We'll holler and put you.
Okay.
Send you his info.
That would be the coolest.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Is to be able to collaborate
because
with
they've done
the
some
neighbors.
They've done some cool stuff, and they're see over there. What I like about the Post is that they're more community minded too. They were having before everything shut so long ago now.
Yeah.
They did Rib Night, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
People come, sit out the picnic tables and all that, and take some advantage of that wide open space.
It's nice.
It is.
It's real
and,
nice.
And, I mean, the place is nice on the inside too. We love using the hall, but it's the outside. There's so much shit you could be doing.
It's like a park.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And even across the street, because that's Jericho and whatever street that is. Even across the street, there's a little field.
Yep.
It's not big enough for baseball, but it's big.
Yeah.
So, but I'll holler at the guys.
Cool. That would be an amazing collaboration to bring some water. I mean, obviously that's the project for the spring, but
Right.
the time to have those kind of dreams and those conversations is now.
Yeah, plan it out.
Yep.
So the show ends on a positive note.
Oh.
Okay,
Good.
What's the message of the day for the people out there?
The message of the day for the people. I'm just gonna say, let's just stay strong, stay focused, have some fun.
Be kind to yourself and to one another. I think that one of the great challenges of this year has been the disruption of the consistency of the flow of how often we see people face to face.
Yeah, for sure.
And so what you have is you have all of us at home behind our screens, which is a very distorted.
Can't we go hiking with
distorted
with
view
each
of
other?
reality?
Like, can't we have like
hang on,
group hikes?
I gotta finish this thought here. So be extra kind to one another, and remember, social media is great, but it's not reality. You really have to have those face-to-face connections, and even if it's 6 feet apart, take time to see people and to
for sure.
And be kind. Don't rush to judgment.
Right.
I'm saying this to myself. And stick with people that are encouraging, with people with which you have mutual respect, and with people that encourage and support one another. Like, stick with those people.
Let's get
be
outside.
one of those people.
Let's get outside.
Let's get outside.
Let's get outside and play.
Even in the cold, you gotta get that vitamin D.
Again, back to the vacation land.
Yeah.
There's like 10 parks we could go to right now. Go hike around, get some sun in our eyeballs, breathe. That's what I want to do.
Get outside.
Yeah.
Get
With
outside,
my friends.
Get outside and live.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope that vaccines and things like that are promising for next year in the spring. That's gonna be great because I stopped saying I want to go back to normal. Normal is dead.
Yeah.
So we're building something new here. But boy, I do want to hang out somewhere with the back of the truck open and talk some smack and have some Doobie Brothers blaring.
Yeah.
And have all the people splashing some paint on something.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I want that to happen again. The one old thing I want to come back is that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm into that for sure.
Yeah. What's up?
I'm into that.
Okay.
Well, let's pick a wall and get going on it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the only barrier is ourselves and our imagination.
Yeah.
Because now there's process and support.
Yeah.
We got lots of paint.
Yeah. And you also brought some things.
I did bring some things.
Hang on,
so
let's do that.
I have some gifts. The one gift that I really meant to bring, I have in the van, so I'm going to have to go get that for you. But I just brought this to show, but I have a print for you also of the same thing. This is carrying forward a theme, Star Wars, a little bit of Han Solo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Also for you, and you can keep these or give these away. It's all up to you.
Thank you, brother.
This was my theme in the spring. It's a spring theme, but it applies just in general.
Right.
So the print of that, and I think these are just copies of the.
This is.
Yep.
I'm gonna give a credit.
Well, that's a whole nother deal.
We realize that.
Wait a minute. One second.
Oh, God.
I know you were a Navy guy, but this is one of my favorite guys from. Did you see?
Is that Sad Sack? Who is that?
No. Did you see Arrested Development? Are you a Arrested Development fan?
The show?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it all the time. I did not follow it all the time. I'm familiar with it.
Can you do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
I highly recommend going through the whole show, and when you do find this, you'll laugh very hard.
Nice.
It's great.
Okay.
So this was an art bar. This is an art bar thing.
Thank you.
But I'll give you that.
I grew up in a children's choir singing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do with the hand signals, and that's how they teach young children how to make music. Josh figured out that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do is the same. There's the same amount of syllables as there are colors in the rainbow. So that means that you can actually sing the rainbow. So this would be
synesthesia.
Sing the rainbow.
That's what that's all
me, so you can actually sing anything once you start to associate colors with notes, like
They're just vibrations.
Yellow is
Vibrations
me,
of light.
Good
Vibrations.
vibrations. Yeah.
You can have fun and sing the rainbow.
I think that's awesome. Thank you very much for those gifts. I appreciate that.